Hello there, everyone. I hope you guys are having a good day amidst all of this quarantine that we have going on. I know it's been a crazy time for everybody, especially for me with having the two kids at home. You know, it's harder for me to get the videos done. I have to capture the time when they are sleeping. So for whoever is out there watching, can you hear me okay? I just want to make sure, because I don't want to continue and ramble on, and then next thing you know, nobody heard me. So I hope you are all being safe out there. I know it's definitely wild and crazy times, but you know what? This is a great time to pause and reflect and see how you can make your life better overall, right? Don't dwell on things that are out of your control. What can you control? You know, as far as your income, everything like that, if you've ever thought about getting into trading, a great time to spend some time and study, invest in the education of yourself and study. Hello, Dee. All right, thank you. So let me go ahead and I will switch it on over so you guys can see my screen. Actually, 2 seconds, let's do this. So I do have a couple different promos going on for people while we are in the midst of this quarantine stuff. So I do have Carpe Profit over at Teachable, the bare basics of trading, absolute beginner information is 50% off. Actually, all these are 50% off with virus promo code. So if you guys want to invest a little bit of time and a little bit of money in learning about trading, the terminology, you know, it's really important to know anytime you're getting into a new profession or something to make money that you understand the terms that people are talking about. So that's what that really is. So that if you go into any sort of trading room or trading environment, you will be a bit more in the know because you have the basic terms explained, PowerPoint presentation, everything like that. Also, over on my website, and you can see right there is the basics videos. You can see also in the training pits, if you want to devote more time to that. I do also help people there as one of 4 teachers. We do over 40 webinars a day. Excuse me, not a day, a month. That would be a lot of webinars in a day. And a lot of great feedback from people. We do concentrate on trading around the dark pool, so seeing what that big volume is doing and trading around that. And also, if you know a fair amount about trading already and you're looking for a watch list, much like the one I'm going to go over today, I do have my watch list, same promo code virus, and you can get it 50% off of any of the subscriptions. And here is the Dark Pools website. So you can see we have the training pits, and I am one of the 4 teachers there. We also have the Java pits and the Dark Pool app and the insights, everything there with Stephanie Kammerman. She is the head of the Dark Pools Whisperer. All right, so moving forward, I wanted to go ahead and talk about what everybody is talking about, not so much in a negative way, but just be smart. You know, please stay at home. You can see worldwide, 700,000 cases, 33,000 deaths. But one thing that I found was really interesting from this website, this is worldometers.info, is when you go down and you look at the breakdown of the deaths, you can see many of them were over 80 years old. And obviously as age increased, so did the statistics. As well as what's interesting is it tends to be more for men than women as well, and that more cases had to do with pre-existing conditions as well. I'm not discounting that this is a serious virus, but you know, I've done my part since March 11th. Pretty much I've been at home with my 2 kids hanging out because they had a fever for 10 days each and they had 1 day of coughing. So I was on top of taking care of them and didn't want to spread it. I do come from a family of doctors, and so I didn't want to spread anything around and contaminate anybody else's life. So let's go ahead and move forward with the SPY. And if you guys are brand new to following me, please go ahead, like and subscribe and check everything out. You know, I used to have my Series 7 way back in 2000, and it is no longer current, but I was a broker, or I was a broker's assistant, and I got my Series 7, which gives you that right to handle other people's money. And I decided to leave, got laid off, my first layoff in my life, which caused me to leave the trading world, and then my second layoff brought me back to the trading world. So if you guys are also dealing with getting laid off, know that sometimes it is a huge, huge blessing. It can be hard at that time, but it can also be a blessing in disguise for you to figure out your true passion. So think about it, journal, write down what you really would love to do in life and see what you can do about it now. Nice Arky. Hey Java J, thank you. And hello to everybody. So let's go over the indexes, and know that also trading any sorts of securities instrument, there are varying degrees of risk. So please be aware of that in moving forward. And let's look at the SPY to start off. So let's go over here. We'll just go to the indexes. We'll have them up. So the SPY, I like to look at it on a 45-minute chart. Yes, we had the massive downturn. You can see we've had, in that downturn, we had first an area right here, consolidation box, where, well, if you think about it, why is it consolidating, right? Well, there's going to be people that are trying to take it down, but maybe there's people buying, which is driving it back up. So there are buyers and sellers battling it out, right? And the bigger ones are going to win. So in this scenario, boom, they took it down and then bounced it back up to this trend line here, and then came down, and for a long time, each dark area here is going to be a day. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, which was pretty much not this past week, but the week before. And so that was all consolidation, right? Not necessarily buying or selling, and then they took it back down, which this is a low from, let me pull it back on the daily so I can show you that. Okay, so you can see this one right here was low of these 2 days, right? I drew a trend line there, and then we bounced off of it on Monday. I'll go back to that 45-minute chart. Right? So hit here, hit here, hit here, and here. So we have 4 tests of that trend line, and then we saw that we created what looks like a cup and handle on the 45-minute chart, right? So when you look at that, let's go ahead and do the measurements. If you guys don't know what a cup and handle is, you can definitely check it out on Investopedia. And so if we go from here and we measure up, we'll call this the rim of the cup, roughly $30, right? So $30 to the rim, and we're at $249. But I actually like right here a little bit better, $27.50 right here. And so if we add that to $247.56, if you see it on the right, thank you, Jay. So if you come over here and you add that to put it right here at this line right here, $247.79, $247.79 plus 27.5, we're looking $275-ish for potential target, right? And everyone's thinking, okay, yes, we had all of this selling that came back down on Friday, but look, we're still above this consolidation area, right? So if we break down below, really, if we were to break down below here, 235, then it looks like it's going to be massive selling that they're creating. You know, this could be a bit of a dead cat bounce here, but they might take this back up and test the bottom of this box, because we know that this box was selling, right? Because the sellers took over and brought it back down. So are these guys going to be greedy? They're going to take it back up and test right here, 270, maybe the bottom of this area right here, 270.81. And then they're going to go ahead and take it back down again, because that's where they loaded up selling in the past. It's a maybe, right? Maybe they were people were fearful and they thought, uh-oh, the market is done. It's done on this dead cat bounce. I'm going to go ahead and sell off, right? Because I don't want to miss that second sell-off. So the shorts started to pile in on Friday. They started to see it pull down, and maybe they went ahead and they piled into it. But what I found interesting, I'm going to pull this up here. is I also look at the short volume. You guys know that, right? So this is the SPY right here, the top 10 holdings. And the short volume on Friday, you know, it looks like people started to really pile in. We have 49% from Microsoft, which is the #1 percentage holding in the SPY. So it goes based on percentage of holdings in the SPY. So Microsoft was 49%, Apple was 63%, Amazon was 59%, Facebook, and so on down. So you can see many of these were over 50% short volume for the day. So if that's the general retail trader getting in, then there's a good likelihood that all of these, if the really large big guys made it seem like it was selling, then they could potentially squeeze all of those shorts and very quickly take it up, because we had a quick trip down, right? But we also had a very quick trip right back up. Why? Because there were so many shorts that were in here. They kept piling in. And as soon as they broke that level of consolidation, they might have piled in on this day, and then it recovered from there back up. But looking at it on that 45-minute, it's looking more bullish to me until we really break down 250 area right here. You know, if we were to break the 250 and then go on down and break down below 235, yes, uber bearish on it for me. If we go back up and we stay up above 250, we might bounce off of 250 on Monday. And then they might see, hey, maybe we'll do more buying. We ripped the shorts here. Guess what? We're going to do it again. And they might do, you know, if you do L8 wave, maybe it's A, B, C, all the way up to 270. But we'll see. So let's look at NASDAQ as well. Ahmad, I will look at that afterwards. I will make sure that we touch on Tesla, and we'll see what's going on. Sorry, my kids come in my office and they take my pens, and they also take my lipstick and redecorate the walls. That was not fun this weekend, but it's all about making memories now. So right off the bat, when I look at NASDAQ, the reason why I have the white candlesticks is because I really just want to see where we lie in relation to the averages. And right off the bat, I start seeing this, much like with the SPY, right? You guys see that right here, that it's all this consolidation. Again, they took it down, they went above, and look at right where it pretty much closed, almost at the top of all of these candles back here, right? So if we break down below, down here, down below 172, we'll say, if we break down below there, yes, bearish. But if we're able to hold this 185 area, we could quickly come back up, right up here, to 193, which is where they tested there, and maybe up to 199. Let's look at the daily as well. Let me get rid of my pivots, make it easier to see. Right, so maybe they're going to bring it back up and test the 200 up here at 199, right up there. Let's look at the Russell 2000. And one thing I didn't talk about on the SPY as well too is, yes, we came down. I'm sorry, all those orange lines, I have to talk to them and see if I can figure out a better color. You know, it came and it crossed above the averages. They started to curl up here, so it was super bullish, and then they came down and tested them again. Took it back up and make it look like a selling candle right here, but we're still above all the averages and we don't have super high volume. So they might just be trying to sucker people in to sell. Hey, we're going to show that it's a bearish candlestick and we're going to go ahead and we're going to try to get everybody. But still an inside candle from the day prior. So it could still have that momentum to continue on up, in my opinion. All right, back to the Russell. Okay, so Russell, we came up, this is the 15 EMA right here. We came down, we tested, and it's still looking like we're fairly bullish on it, in my opinion. You know, maybe we could come and fill up here to test this gap, 119.88, and if we break that, test the 20 simple moving average at 121, and then come up here, maybe test 124 up to 125, because it's still in that upward area. We also had the dividends on the SPY and the Russell as well, and it's up above. diamonds or Dow Jones Industrial Average. So I drew this wedge, right? We came down in this wedge, and then we had a nice bullish candlestick pattern right here, higher than normal volume, right? And we continued up, up, up. Same, all the charts are looking the same at the moment. So here we have, if we come back up and we test up here, we might go and test the candlestick right here, 224.82, which is close to the 20 SMA at 227. And then we might go on up, test the top of that, and then all the way to the bottom of this, 235. So looking for a retest back here of that week in March when everything was consolidating before it really dropped. They might be taking it back up to that consolidation point, and then they're going to drop it back down. Because if you're a really big guy with lots of money in the market, wouldn't you want to sell it off higher than where it is? You know, go ahead, take profit on a bounce, bring it all the way up. Think that, hey, you know, we just signed the great deal. Maybe the Barron's article cover story is going to come out. Hey, this bear market is done. It's time to jump back in, trying to sway people to go ahead and get back into the market, only to have the big guys sell their shares to them. So we shall see what happens in this week, but that's my synopsis of the indexes for the week. All right, let me go over. We'll do the watch list of the different stocks. Let me pull this up in the background over here. All right. You guys have any questions on the indexes that I was looking at? Also, this is NASDAQ as well. So I also have the NASDAQ short volumes right here in this column right here. So Apple, again, 63%, Microsoft 49, 59 for Amazon. Usually Amazon has not had more than roughly 30% of short volume. I do have another file where I was tracking it. So let me pull that up over here and I'll quickly pull it over so you guys can see that. I was somewhat tracking. There we go. I was tracking, and you can see here, Amazon really never went above 50%. So starting to see that 59% have jumped on board, it could have a big squeeze before it sells off. You know, when you start to have all of these shorts piling in, then they start to get squeezed, much like Tesla had happened, right? Okay, let's pull this over here. Make it a bit smaller. Okay. So let's go on over. Let's look at Ring Central. So Ring Central, looking at the chart, right, we have, let's get rid of all the lines on it. So on the daily chart, we're coming up, it tested a new 52-week high, which there are not many stocks that are doing that. When I'm drawing my support and resistance, I like to go ahead and take it down to a 15-minute chart. And I'm going to put my support right here. We had a break of this resistance area, then it acted as support and support for about, it broke, and then over 30 minutes it held as support. So 233.96. And for our resistance, I'm going all the way up. Oh, right here. I'm going to go here where we had the sellers come down. So if we're able to go ahead and break above that, that would be my first test, and then a quick target for a scalp, but more confirmed test above 252.85. And when you look at it again on the year, we've got this nice test down here to the moving average, ran all the way back up, and now that everything is happening online for businesses, you know, Ring Central is a phone system that is all online, so could be a great potential profit there. They had earnings back in February, so they probably won't be having earnings again until May. So still time on that one. So I'm actually going to put the upper level there, 252.85, but you guys know that that lower one would be a potential scalp area between the two. All right, CTXS, Citrix Systems. Again, another stock hitting 52-week high. And we'll pull it back out. So looking for a break right there. And I want to see, we had this cup and handle again, right? You guys see this on the 15-minute chart. Cup, handle, right? So let's do our quick math. Come down here, 2264, that's 138.47, 138.47 plus 2264, rough target of 161 for CTXS if it continues with this breakout to the upside. All right. Okay, let's get back here, and I'll get rid of that cup and handle line. All right, so VMBS, another one. When we look at it on the yearly chart, right? Came all the way back down. Now this is Vanguard mortgage-backed securities. So it's kind of interesting. Massive volume spike here, right? Came up, as soon as it tested that area, dropped down. Big volume again at the bottom down here, and then right back up above. So I'm going to go ahead, put that support, I'm going to put it right over here. Actually, I want to see that it's going to hold right here. And break out above 40, excuse me. Where are you all tuning in from today? I keep looking up this way because that's where my chat is, right? So you can see that's pretty much where it started to have that breakout, but I want to see that hold again. And coincidentally, that is also the 4 EMA right there. It's pretty cool when all those things line up. All right, let's go to TLRY. Everyone in the Java pit knows that I was talking about TLRY on Friday. And I've got my fibs here. Let's go ahead and remove those. So on Friday, this has come up again on a 45-minute chart. This has a cup and handle to me. It's a bit longer time frame, so it could take a little bit longer to fill, but here came down and then we came back up, right? So this one, potentially a target up to 1540 for me. Which is why you can see I have all these lines up here. I got into it down roughly around 437 over on this day, over here on the 20th. So I got in, and then as it came up, I took some profit off, and then of course it really ripped higher. But it does look like, to me, it could have potential legs to it to continue further. So let's go to the 15-minute chart. I'm going to touch on CCL for sure, Archie, because that is on my list. So I would look at 1026, and I'm going to leave it right here again at 860, because 860, let's do this, make it a bit bigger. 860 right here was resistance, right? And so I want to see that that resistance flips to be support, and it will go ahead and continue to the upside. If it doesn't, there's a good likelihood it'll continue to slide back down before it finds a new bottom again. So 860 and 10. I'm going to go ahead and move this on up to 1050, that round number in people's brains, because the 1035 won't really offer that much resistance. There might be some computers that are set to sell there because that was a low of another day in the past, but during the live trading day, it would likely be 1050 for people with that round number in their head. All right, let's look back at on the daily so you guys can see that too. So you can see back here, we did have, it came up to the high of this candlestick 1036 right there, which is why probably it held that as resistance as well, with a little spike up with shorts that had their position getting squeezed and then they covered. Then we have WWW. So WWW, does this jump out to you guys at all? Do you guys see what I see down here? It's something to watch for the week, right? You guys see that? Consolidation or distribution. They're laying a position right here, right? So this one, it's starting to curl up. The averages are starting to curl up. So I would look for a nice break to the upside. I want to see it break here, 1560. Oh, here, that's my color. I'm used to this being up here. I got to move it back up. I want to see it hold support down here of 1446. Nice, Connecticut and Ohio. Where in Ohio, sweetie? B. I went, so you can see this might have a nice move to the upside if it does, just based on the technicals. It's looking a bit oversold. It looks like it had consolidation, looks like it had volume that came into it, and it hasn't gone down with this volume. If it does break down below, again, potential more of a sell-off, but it's just sort of holding right here, and it hasn't fully broken the averages curling up yet. All right, next, paychecks. You got to remember this, right? Paychecks, what do? They give everybody their paychecks, right? So if nobody's working, everybody's laid off, they're not going to be having their services used, right? They are going to find that they will be hurting likely in the next quarter. So maybe that's why this is happening here for them. All right, let's make that green up there. You say, Jane, why did I pick this right here? Okay, because this was resistance, 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 then support, 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 right? Support and then resistance. So I want to see that to hold as resistance. And down here, this, actually I'm going to move this a little bit lower right here. It was a support area right here. So if we break below 58.88 and 61.99. All right. So you can see this also looks like it has a bit of that dead cat bounce going on to it. Somebody's calling. I don't know who it is. We'll just send it to voicemail. All right. So it comes down and then up, and maybe it's going to come back down, right? They had earnings, but earnings, anything, their forward guidance might be drawing them back down. But we'll see if it's going to go down from here. It just looks like it might be setting up for that pattern because it's starting to curl over already. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I just wanted to get rid of this line, the yellow one. All right. Let's go to SNX. Very similar chart, right? Just draw right here. You can see we've got this area that acted again as resistance and support. Support here, resistance, support, resistance, and then will it break down? Let's move it back down here a little bit. 69.50 area. So 69.50 and 74.57. Nice. Okay. Next potential short for CSIQ. Let's do our 15-minute. Now, I always say potential short or potential long because it depends on where the market's going to take it, right? If they rip everything on Monday, then all of these might end up being super short squeezes, right? Because everybody's looking them at the reverse. So right here, we've got this area that was resistance here. So looking for that support to break down, and then looking for a target to come back down here to 14. If it were to break 14, back down to 13, and then continue on down. It does have that bearish candlestick pattern right here, and it came down on earnings, it gapped up, and then it sold off. So we'll see if we have a third day bottom before it goes ahead and continues up. Depends on what the market does overall as well. So 15.25 and 15.86. FOXF. Fox Factory Holdings. All right, so this, it's already discounted over 50% for the stock itself. It did have higher than normal volume right here, and it came down bearish below. So looking fairly bearish overall because of that big high volume day, and it closed down below it over here. Let's go here, auto. Make that red. And if we can break above right here, $43.26. So $39.30 on the bottom for support and $43.26 for resistance. You can see it does have some big volume spikes here, and it has some movement from those volume spikes, right? So it had a big volume right back here, and then it sort of held, came down a little bit, then another big volume spike, and then it just sort of came back down at the bottom. Some more buying power came in, and then hit the 50, pulled back again, more buying power here, came up, then a bit more selling potentially here. Here we had a massive gap up, not sure why, and then boom, it came back down. So this might have been a bit of a bull trap right here, because it came up to 75 and then they sold it off, and now it's back down discounted here. So maybe somebody knew something back here with this big volume spike, and they went ahead and capitalized off of that. So last one, all right, CCL. So who was it? Arky. You were talking about CCL. You know what? I'm not so interested in the bailout scenario for CCL, because it had a nice bounce to it, so did the airlines. But when you think about it in the big picture, the airlines are more crucial to businesses getting people face to face to go ahead and hold meetings. Cruise ships are not. That's more of a luxury item. So if we are going into a bear market recession, in my opinion, how many people are going out and they're buying their cruises for their luxury vacations? Probably not that many, right? There's more people that are worried about losing their homes, losing their cars, losing their jobs. So booking a cruise, probably not the #1 concern, right? But in this time, many people are going back to their basic needs. You know, do you have a roof over your head? Do you have clothes on your back? Do you have food to eat, right? Basic needs are what people are really looking at the moment, and then slowly expanding as jobs start to open up again, incomes start coming in, and then they can start taking care of bills that have been piling up. So buying a cruise, probably not going to happen. You might see some amazing deals out there. In my opinion on this one, I feel that this has more to the downside, and based on the chart, it looks like it as well, right? It came back down. Yes, this week overall had nice bounce to it, and then came back down, right? If we break down below 14, and then we break down below 1250, we'll probably fill that gap down here, down to the 1120 area. It filled it once here, but likely would come back down and test it again, and then come back down maybe to that $9 area. You know, we might even see this go down much further, like to $5, but we'll see. History will determine where we go from here, but it's looking bearish to me, in my opinion. All right. Thanks, Ricardo. Oh, you know what, sweetie, I wish we had weather up here. I am donning my Canadian sweatshirt, happy to be in Canada now, because we are, actually I have this up too. This is what's scary. Countries. When you break it down, United States went from, you know, being nowhere to now being #1, and Canada's all the way down here at 16th. We also have less inhabitants in Canada than the state of California. Excuse me. And our overall landscape is much larger than the US. So thankful to be at home in Canada at the moment. All right. So back to some potential longer term swings that I'm looking at. So down here, Tupperware. right? Tupperware looks like it found a bottom back down here. And if it really breaks that 250 area, might have nice big movement to it. Let's go look at it on the 5 years. You can see this was trading up here really, really well. And then all of a sudden it sort of had a downturn to it. Massive volume right here. I don't know, looking at it for a fundamental value reason, I'd have to go back and look and see what happened February 24th. Was that just part of the major sell-off, right? You know, maybe hedge funds, probably hedge funds that got out of it, or mutual funds because it dropped below $5, so they couldn't hold it on their books anymore, so they probably got out of it. And out of curiosity, let's go and see what the float size is for Tupperware. It's 48 million. So this could actually have a really nice move to it if a large amount of volume came into it. Because 48 million is not that high. 20 million and less is really low float. 50 million is like the next level up in my head. And then I'm looking at, you know, like above 100 million and then 250, 500. But 50 million, this might have a nice big move to it. You know, if you wanted to potentially get into it, in my opinion, I would maybe get in. Ooh, I don't want to see that. Go ahead and put an alert here for a break of 205 for a small position. Because if this were to go back up to 70 and you're getting in at $2, not saying that it will, but looking at the chart, it's found a bit of a bottom right now, you know, and it was all the way down here at 120, came up, almost doubled again right there, but we hit this 20 simple moving average. So I also want to see that it's going to break 237. That's the 21 EMA. So I'm going to put those two alerts there. But really, for more confirmation, I would say above 250 area. And then TNAV as well. So TNAV, let's look back on the daily here. It's got a bit of a bearish look to it. I would wait on this one, in my opinion. I would wait, make sure that it's not going to continue down further, and would look for it really to break above here, the 475, more even the 480 area. $5 is going to be when, again, those hedge funds can get into it. And the $5 mark acted as resistance many times. Support here, resistance, bounced above, resistance, resistance. So really looking for it to break that 5 area and hold $4. If it can't hold that $4 area, it's going to go back down. If it can break 5, potential move to the upside. We've got the 50 simple moving average here at 528 and 200 up at 624. Another potential longer term swing, OFG Bancorp. So OFG Bancorp had this nice bottom 1, 2, 3, 4 days of buying. I hear my little one coming. And then break of 11.98, $12 would be great to the upside. All right, guys, let's look at ABT. All right. Yeah. So it looks like it's hitting a resistance here. It just broke above the 20 simple moving average. And let's look at it on the weekly. Abbott Laboratories. Yeah, if it can hold this support from the past, it looks like it's butting up against it right here. You see that? What was resistance here flipped to be support, and it looks like it's resistance again over here. And last one, I actually messaged my dad about this one. This one has a nice gap to fill to the upside if it could break that $2 range right here. So I'm actually going to put a little alert crossing up. So Silica Holdings, right? So Silica for manufacturing, everything like that. Look at this nice little bottom right here, right? So if it can break up above here, we've got an instant gap to fill up to 322 and then a nice resistance up here at 438. So always looking at some that are bottoming, starting to curl up. It doesn't mean that in a bear market or recession that we cannot have some bullish stocks in it. So keep that in mind. And I'm going to call it wraps for now because my little one is here and she just woke up from her nap, so I'm going to take care of her. But please be safe this week. My heart goes out to anybody and everybody that knows somebody that's been affected by this. It can be very tragic. Thankfully, everyone in my immediate family is good, and I pray for your family and for everybody else. Stay home, but stay connected through the internet. And always reach out if you guys have questions. Come and join us in the training pit. We'd be happy to teach you over there if you're new to trading. And have a great week ahead. Carpe Profit. See you guys later. Bye.